When we're talking about Spider-Man as a villain, there's almost no one more unstoppable or worse than this version. Symbiote Spider-Man from the 1989 What If series in issue number 4. This What If posed the question of what if Spider-Man had become possessed by the symbiote and it was unable to be separated from him. This resulted in Spider-Man becoming the ultimate villain himself, far greater than Eddie Brock's Venom ever was or ever would be, in my opinion. The symbiote took full control over Peter and eventually left him to possess Hulk and then later Thor. The only thing that could stop this symbiote was Black Bolt's sonic scream. But honestly, this symbiote has accomplished a lot more than some other people out there. It's probably created more havoc than many other symbiotes that we've seen, save maybe the Grendel symbiote or Null. I mean, if you're like literally taking out Spider-Man, that was like Venom's dream for so long and never managed to do it really. What do you think are some of the most powerful symbiotes? Let me know in the comments below. This variant of Zatanna comes to us from the Amalgam universe. She's actually an alternate version and a combination of two different superheroes, Zatanna Zatara from DC and Wanda Maximoff's Scarlet Witch from Marvel. She goes by the name Wanda Zatara and is known for both her seduction and her magic skills. In the Amalgam universe, she is known as being a powerful ally of Doctor Strange Fate, who is the one responsible for combining the two worlds of DC and Marvel to create the Amalgam universe. When it comes to her skills as a magic user, she has the combined power of both the Scarlet Witch and Zatanna, meaning that she is one fearsome magical force, because both those ladies are really powerful. There is likely almost nothing the White Witch cannot do, and she is the one who proved to be the most helpful in aiding Doctor Strange Fate. In the alternate universe housing both the games and the comics for Injustice Gods Among Us, the alternate Green Lantern Hal Jordan turns a parallax rivaling level of dark. He ends up allying himself with the fascist Superman, who seeks to take control over Earth in order to protect it after being driven to extremes following the death of Lois and their unborn child, as well as the destruction of Metropolis. This alternate version of Hal ends up trading in his Green Lantern ring for, you guessed it, a Yellow Lantern ring. He works with the villainous Superman and even takes out fellow Lantern Guy Gardner permanently. This version of Ghost Rider imagines him tied to a more technological world, not a magical one, making him, in a sense, some might say more realistic. Well, realistic if you believe in the ultimate power of AI in the future, and considering where it looks like we're heading, I think maybe that might be something. Kenshiro Zero Cochrane was a hacker who ran with the gang the Hotwire Martyrs, futuristic worlds where we have gangs of hackers. I dig it. Their gang was in possession of some heavily encrypted info when they were attacked by the artificial kids. With a Z, of course. Kids. That's how you make yourself sound cool. Add Zs to stuff. The hacker kids ended up killing the martyrs, but Cochrane managed to get away. However, he had been shot by a tech bullet that was eating away at his nervous system, effectively killing him. Before he died though, he managed to transfer the file to his girlfriend and download himself into cyberspace. There he awoke to the Ghost Works, a network of AI intelligence that wanted Cochrane to return as their agent and basically help fix the world, which they feared was on a decline. Should civilization collapse, tech of course would also be threatened and they would cease to exist. They wanted to fix the way things were so that this basically wouldn't happen to them. Cochrane agreed and was downloaded into a warbot, becoming the new Ghost Rider, kind of a combo of Ghost Rider and Terminator. I really love 2099 Ghost Rider. I feel like such a cool character. Walter West is an alternate version of Wally West. His life paralleled Wally's with one major difference. His one true love, Linda Parker, was killed by Cobra. This event changed Walter from a hero to a villain, turning him dark. He became a student of Savitar, learning everything he could about the Speed Force from him. Soon Walter surpassed Savitar, and after he felt he had learned pretty much all he could from his teacher, Walter just decided to eliminate him. That's how dark he is. When he first crossed paths with Wally West, he proved even too fast for the Flash. However, Wally would return disguised as Zoom and managed to beat Dark Flash, though this version of Wally West was in his prime, which is wild to think about, that Dark Flash is pretty much almost always faster unless it's just like Wally at his peak. One of the lesser known alternate versions or variants of Wolverine also happens to be one of my favorites, which is why I'm very happy to be including him on this list. This version was once the Governor General of Canada and served the Queen. As a result, he was forced to hide his love and his relationship with his fellow hero, Hercules, because the Queen had forbidden queer relationships. Yep, in this reality, Logan is gay. Instead of being known as Wolverine or even Logan, this alternate version is simply known by his last name, Howlett, or his full name, name, James Howlett. Pretty simple. This version of Wolverine shows up in the Astonishing X-Men run written by Greg Pak, making his first appearance in 2011 in Astonishing X-Men in issue number 44. This superhero version is a version of The Flash, specifically a future version of Barry Allen, instead of Wally West, from 20 years in the future. In the timeline he came from, Wally West was killed. He traveled back in time to try and eliminate everyone that he deemed responsible for the death of his nephew. The future Flash's actions end up creating a huge tear in the Speed Force, which he then seeks to close by killing his present day self and using the resulting energy to basically seal up that tear. What he doesn't expect is for Wally West to turn up to stop him, fighting alongside Barry Allen of the present day and ultimately sacrificing himself just to close that tear. The ensuing fight of course results in present day Barry becoming lost in the Speed Force and Wally's demise, meaning that future Flash tragically then ends up becoming the cause of the very thing that he traveled back in time to try and prevent. Wolf Spider comes from the animated show Ultimate Spider-Man. He was an alternate version of Peter Parker who hailed from the reality of Earth 16827 and was ultimately bad to the bone. What can I say? I really like evil Spider-Man. Unlike many other alternate versions of Spider-Man, for some reason, Wolf Spider became a villain instead of a hero when his spider-like powers first manifested. He was a merciless killer, fighting to oppose anyone who basically fought on the side of good, was a hero, or who simply believed in the ideal of responsibility. He even ended up killing his own reality's version of Miles Morales. During the series Bullet Points, we get to explore a world where Dr. Erskine was killed before Steve Rogers could ever become a superhero soldier or Captain America. Instead, this causes Rogers to sign up for the experimental project Iron Man, which is basically a last resort of the military. This was a project that was initially scrapped because they didn't have a pilot for the suit. They needed someone slim enough who would also be willing to give up a normal life to take on the role of Iron Man, as the pilot would actually have his heart bonded and fully connected with the suit's giant chest plate, without any way to safely disconnect it. So it's kind of a mission for life type of thing. In a way, the suit just becomes a part of you. Fortunately, Steve, being the patriotic man that he is, agrees and is transformed into the giant, indestructible World War II version of Iron Man, even choosing to sacrifice more pain meds and sedatives so that he could help the surgeons complete his operation more quickly, all while making it, of course, exceedingly painful for him. If you're not afraid of things that go bump in the night, well, you are about to be, because I'm gonna tell you about this alternate version of Spider-Man who's crazy. This alternate is truly something out of a nightmare. It combines both grotesque visual and mental, spooky stimuli all in one neat little monstrous package. This alternate comes to us from the Edge of the Spider-Verse series. Patton Parnell was a mostly harmless, creepy science nerd living with his Uncle Ted, who severely mistreats him, and crushing, spying, kinda peeping, on his next door neighbor, Sarah Jane, until one day he was bitten by a radioactive spider. This gave him an enhanced sense of smell, the ability to shoot webs, and an obsessive bloodlust. Parnell transformed into something more terrifying than Man-Spider, though he does have a similar look to Man-Spider, multiple eyes, arms and legs, and pincers to boot. The thing that makes him the most scary is not only that he is kidnapping other teens, devouring them, but he can also lay eggs inside people. That's about it. I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.